On behalf of all of us, we'd like to say so long, good night. We'll see you Saturday. Right now, Parker and Cory Sarich standing by with tonight's Ram post-game show. Brought to you by your Alberta Ram dealers.
Winning Motor Trend Truck of the Year 3 times in a row? That had never been done before. Then again, neither had a 12-inch touchscreen or 1,000 pound-feet of torque. Never been done before. It's just kind of our thing.
Welcome to Flames Postgame Live, brought to you by your Alberta Ram dealers. Brendan Parker alongside Cory Sarich here as we break down a Calgary Flames loss. 2-1 the final here in overtime as the Carolina Hurricanes score the decision. And boy, what a tight game this was, really, from start to finish. Just the 2 goals in regulation, and then we find another one in overtime. And we kind of talked about this game coming in as 2 really defensively sound teams, but 1 and 2 in the National Hockey League in terms of goals against. And I guess from that standpoint, kind of lived up to the billing. What'd you make of it?
Yeah, we saw a lot of the neutral zone tonight.
Yeah, that's
Play
right.
was bouncing back and forth through there. There was maybe a few minor breakdowns by the Carolina Hurricanes in the first period, and the Flames weren't able to capitalize. Flames came out a little slow, but they seemed a little disjointed, mainly in part to the fact that you get a penalty right away. Yeah. And then all of a sudden your lines don't all get to touch the ice and they're a little bit out of rotation. But I thought the Flames responded very well after the early goal in the first by Carolina, and I think they controlled more of the play throughout the game than Carolina did, and they did a good job of not allowing a lot of opportunities for them. But as you mentioned earlier, Brendan, they didn't capitalize in on their power plays, and that seemed to be crucial.
Yeah, for sure, and we'll take a look back through some of those, and obviously the one that you're going to point to at the very end of the night is the fact that you get one at the end of regulation, 1 minute in regulation, 1 minute in overtime. But here's a look at what happened tonight in terms of the highlights, and it starts in the first period. This was kind of what's just after that the penalty kill, and a goal from the Carolina Hurricanes here, and a nice little touch pass to Sebastian Aho, who gets his 12th of the season there on the back door. Yeah,
this is a really nice heads-up play by Slavin out at the point. He knows who he's looking for. It's a little unfortunate that Rasmus lost his stick there and had to take a moment to pick it up. But you know what? That happens. It's a quick game out there, and Canes took advantage.
Sure did, and that was an early 1-0 lead, despite kind of a number of chances for the Flames that you alluded to there in the middle portion of the first. They couldn't find the back of the net, including a Hanifin penalty shot, but this Hanifin shot does find the back of the net, and seeing eye, I guess we call that?
Yeah. Nicely placed shot, little passing screen in front, and I don't know if he was trying to pick that top corner, but he sure did a good job of it. And Noah had a lot of great touches in the first period. He made a nice read jumping in on that early power play or early breakaway, which led to the penalty shot. But,
and then this is what finishes it off here, and this is the overtime session, and it's Aho who comes in with speed on the wing, and you tell it kind of more of a momentum goal, I guess you could kind of say. He ends up finding the back of the net, but it doesn't really get a shot off. It ends up going through Jacob Markstrom.
No, he was actually being checked there at the end and lost the handle on the puck. And Markstrom's anticipating a move. He's anticipating maybe a forehand to backhand move there, and he gets in motion, and it just unfortunately finds the back of the net. You don't see those ones go in very often, and we saw a pretty animated goalie come through here afterwards. I'm sure he wanted that one back.
Yeah, it slides right underneath him. That's his second of the game, and so Aho has 13 on the season, leads their team in points, now up to 29. I think that's 4 consecutive multi-point nights for Sebastian Aho. But before we dive deeper into the game, I think we got to go look at a couple of opportunities in the third period, and one at the start, one at the end, and it just kind of felt like one of those nights where those are the ones that on most nights they find their way to the back of the net. Tonight, something was in the way, and it was a Carolina Hurricane stick on most occasions. This is the Dubé one.
It's pretty amazing that Teravainen doesn't knock that into the net himself. Yeah. He actually somehow traps it with his blade on top of the puck and
pulls it out.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's pretty amazing. You give him that attempt 9 out of 10 times, and that goes in. And then what a play by Slavin on his way down here. He's almost kicking the puck in his own net, and yet he still has the wherewithal to control his stick, keep it out. And then it looked like Matthew Tkachuk had a little better chance than we thought. He didn't have a great angle on that, and I don't think that puck was headed towards the net. But unfortunately, these are becoming there's kind of its own highlight reel developing here over the course of the last few games for the Calgary Flames. If we think back to
Rasmus Anderson.
Yes, against the Golden Knights, toe of the goalie's skate in the post, and that one stayed out. Let's hope that's the last we see of him for a little while, Brendan.
Sometimes it's just whatever it is, something's got it, and it seems like there's a bit of a force field at times in front of the net, and it just doesn't want to go in.
And they haven't even been tight enough where they need a review. All of the overhead shots have been very clear. Even the ref's been there at times waving it off, and they've wasted no time because the puck is close, but it's only there's been a lot of it that's still touching that red line.
Yeah, it's touching. It's crossing. It's making its way over.
Yeah, there's
hasn't come
2 or 3,
the whole way.
Probably 2 of them for sure that are going in their goals, and I guess you got to credit the defense there for digging those things out.
Yeah, no question. I mean, that one that you alluded to with Teravainen, it's kind of remarkable. You look at the overhead, and it actually just sits there with his stick on the puck for a half a second. When you thought to think that.
I've had a few in my career that were less close to the goal line and probably way more savable, if that's a word, that I've pounded into the net myself. So that's about as close as it gets. And with his speed and momentum coming back.
Yeah, because he ends up behind the net by the end of it.
Yeah, it's very impressive. When you see that at full speed, it gives you a whole new appreciation for that puck not crossing the line.
So you're saying that would have been a kick-in then there? Into the empty net.
Oh, yeah, I would have buried that one for sure.
Bury that one.
That was a minus.
Yeah, that's right. -1. Let's talk about Matthew Tkachuk because he's at the tail end of that one. But, another guy who had some pretty good looks here tonight. And, maybe, one of those things where if one goes in early, it kind of changes the whole course of the game, through the rest of those looks.
Just couldn't seem to find the handle. I know he had this breakaway early, nice control. I know he was trying to catch the goaltender by surprise, but fires it wide because he didn't get a good look. He's got a wide open cage on this second opportunity, and he gets a lot of the net, but it's just him physically, and that's tough at high speed to get your stick in the right position and make that play. Not easy. The good thing is he's getting chances. I know he'll be frustrated at the end of it. He's a highly competitive player. We see him again. That's what was that 5 opportunities now, and you know what? It might just be a little episode here, a little. I don't even know what to call it, but just a little string of bad luck.
Yep.
But guess who's probably going to be bearing down the next time he gets an opportunity when he sees it, because too many have passed him by.
Well, it's amazing when you go back and kind of look at puck luck throughout the course of a season, and sometimes you get a few that go in that you're kind of like, oh, we'll take that one, and then other times it's just completely the opposite, right? And that's cyclical. I guess when you look at an 82-game season, it's going to happen sometimes.
Yeah, and hence the winner tonight, right?
For sure.
That one a lot of times doesn't get anywhere near the net. It stays out, and the Flames had their fair share of good luck, but did enough good things, working hard. I don't think this is something to be worried about.
Yeah, well said. All right, let's listen in on the head coach. He's there now. Daryl Sutter at the podium following a 2-1 overtime loss to the Carolina Hurricanes. Here's Daryl Sutter.
Did you see it the same way I did? 2 teams playing remarkably similar styles and very evenly matched?
Yeah, I think so. I think we talked about that this morning with the media, and they're one of the favorites to win the Stanley Cup, right? And they got some top end guys there, and they showed it in overtime. But you try and emulate their style as much as you can.
When you say battle back, do you mean just the start of the game?
Well, we got a bad break, too many men, so you're right away, and then they score shortly after, and then Noah penalty shots. You could have, I could tell this morning and before the game that, we had some tired guys tonight. It showed in our power play for sure.
A few bad breaks late in the period, just pucks just barely going over the line, or the Hurricanes.
There's 2 or 3 that I looked down. Yeah, 2 or 3 you look down, you're not sure if they're in or not. That one was the one that was close off the post, really close there.
You talked about Vegas being a measuring stick. I assume you see this team as a measuring stick too for you guys?
Well, as I said, they're a really good hockey club.
What did you think about Noah Hannafin's play tonight against his old team?
Usually guys have that little extra bump in their game. I thought he skated really well and did what he could. And you're not getting a lot of opportunities. Look over the shots after 2 periods, and even in the third, there wasn't much. The goal we scored is, it's a face-off win and a shoot at the net. So, and that was Noah.
Key to finding success in 3-on-3 overtime?
For our team, I've said this lots, and you guys have asked that lots. You don't have that guy that's going to go coast to coast, right? So you got to make short plays, and even there was a couple times in the 3-on-3 that you got to hang on to the puck. Like we tried to force the play and basically give the puck back. You got to hang on to it, and you got to make short plays where a team like that can do what they did, right? It's comes off the goalie, and they got a star that can go coast to coast.
Were you happier with the defensemen tonight?
As a group, they were a little better. I think that our defense has to be a more active group, and I said this training camp's not changing. I mean, we're almost at game 30, and it's still a work in progress back there for sure.
By active, do you mean jumping up in the play more?
Moving pucks, shooting pucks, just all those things. What I said this morning.
Okay, all good.
Okay, thanks you guys.
All right, there's some thoughts from the head coach, Daryl Sutter, reflecting on a number of things. And, I think he kind of alluded to briefly just the power play there, and kind of saw some fatigue maybe setting in. It's been a grind for this team, and you come off another road trip and right back at it again tonight. And, I think the coach has probably talked about that a few different occasions. Hard to kind of find the legs sometimes. Maybe just a thought on coming back from the road and trying to, muster up a little bit of extra here on these 2 home games.
Yeah, they've had a couple of very long road trips here in a row with a brief stop at home, and now this almost feels like another brief stop at home. They've got 2 games here. They've got the Bruins coming up, and then they're back out on the road for a couple in a back-to-back scenario. So it's not getting any easier for the group. They'll find a way to push through, and they'll find a way to re-energize themselves, but never easy to come home after 4 or 5 on the road, and especially if you come home maybe after losing a couple, to turn that right around. But maybe besides Daryl alluding to the fact that the power play wasn't as sharp as it needed to be, there was still good energy in other facets of the game. But you just wonder about even little things. You get to overtime like this game tonight, and you watch Michael Backlund maybe make a couple of uncharacteristic plays where you're trying to force a little something, or maybe you just don't have the jam to hang on to the puck. We look at a few of the plays the last couple games. Maybe they're bad luck, but you get a couple of too many men's that are happening and things like this, and that could all just be a byproduct of just not being quite as mentally sharp as you need to be, or just physically fatigued. And you can't blame these guys. It's been a grueling schedule. Yeah,
without a doubt, and that's well put. But Flames do muster up a point here, and maybe just before, you kind of talked about showing the energy in other parts, and there was a lot of physicality in this game. So if there was tired or fatigue, especially early on, it didn't show. But I know that that's an area that you like to see. But what did you make of some of that physicality and trying to make sure that you're at least showing guys that you're in it right from the start?
Yeah, and it was good. It was kind of by committee. There's a lot of guys that I could get out there that were throwing hits. You had Coleman, you had Mangiapane, Zadorov with a big one here in the corner throwing his body around. Lucic, well, you can pretty much depend on him every night. There's probably not too many nights where he doesn't show up in that column, but
that's what you're talking about.
It came from all over, and that's good. You try to energize your teammates. I thought that the fourth line had a couple of really, really good not so much physical shifts, but just hard checking shifts that led to a few opportunities in the offensive zone, and they obviously didn't turn into goals or points, but you need that spark, and you need it from all throughout your lineup.
Yeah, that's great. And, obviously a big part of this hockey game, and, shot count, we talked about volume, wasn't really there in terms of shots either way. And I think, Daryl alluded to it, but it was 17-14 after 2 periods, pretty even in the third and overtime as well. All right, let's go back to the podium and listen into some more post-game reaction. We've got Jacob Markstrom, the goaltender, and Noah Hanifin, the goal scorer, standing by.
That where you get that many power plays, it probably is even more frustrating to lose. What did you see with your group with the man advantage? What didn't work?
Yeah, I mean, I thought obviously we have to be a lot better in a game like that where it's going to be tight. 2 good teams, and when you get that many power plays, you got to capitalize. I don't know. I think we just got to anticipate the play a little bit better, and do a better job on the breakouts too. I thought Carolina did a pretty good job at holding the line and not giving us much. So we just got to, compete harder and outwork them in those situations.
How did you see Rasmus's chance there with Matthew right beside him, and it just seemed like everything went wrong for you guys in that sequence right there when you tried to score?
Yeah, it was just it was a good play by Raz. There's a couple of those situations tonight, and it's Raz made a good play, and I believe it may have hit Slavin's stick or something on the goal line, so it's just a tough bounce.
It's such a fine line in this league. You guys are inches away a couple times from winning this, and you guys are kind of hanging your heads right now. But to me, I thought you guys played really well. Did I not see this game right? I'll ask you, Marky. Did you not?
No, we didn't get 2 points, so it wasn't good. You can get 2 points, and now we haven't got 2 points 3 games in a row. So that's not good for our group, and not good for our team, and not good enough for me.
Tonight, how did you see the overtime goal?
Came in with a lot of speed. I think Lindy was skating from the bench, and I came really fast, and I want to have my momentum with me if he was gonna drag it across to the other side, and I felt like he wanted to do that, but then Lindy caught him a little bit and kind of lost the puck and. Try to poke it in the corner, but my momentum was going the other way, and I don't know if it, hit his skate or stick or whatever, or, I went over my pad and in the net.
Obviously you're expressing some frustrations about this game, but, what would be the most frustrating part about playing such a team that you're so similar to in so many ways?
I mean, yeah. I think, like Marky said, it's just frustrating. We don't get 2 points, and we're a team that expects to win, and we believe in our group, and when we go into games, we're believing we're going to win the hockey game. So it's frustrating, and that's obviously a good team there, and I thought we played a solid game, but I mean, it's like Marky said, it's just it's not good enough. We want to push and get those 2 points.
But on your goal, Noah, he was clearly screened.
Yeah, I just tried to get into the net, and yeah, I think there was just like a D-man screen or something. But I mean, that's something, for us as D-men, we got to do a better job of. I think is just getting pucks to the net, and when we do that, it helps. Even if it's rebounds or a tip or something, it helps generate more offense for our guys. So just got to keep focusing on that.
I couldn't find the stat. Sorry, go ahead, Eric.
Do you see the similarities between these two teams? It's pretty striking.
Yeah, I mean, I think they obviously are a checking team well. I think the stats kind of say it in terms of goals against and whatnot. So I think both teams play pretty responsibly and have a lot of structure when they're playing the right way. So, yeah, I noticed that tonight.
When's the last time you've had a penalty shot?
I don't know. Not for a while, probably.
At the NHL level at all?
No, never.
Take us through your thought process. It must be a tough thing for a defenseman to...
Yeah, just trying to score for the team, I don't know, just not thinking too much. Just we work on it sometimes in practice, but obviously not successful.
It was another close call, though.
Yeah, just another one, but didn't go in, so.
What's the key for you guys in overtime to find success there?
Score before they score. I think that's huge. That's the most important thing for our group, but obviously, especially at home, we want to, our record is not good at home. It's not where we want it to be, and, that's on us players too. We want to give the fans, they show up and they, get us going every night we show up here at the Dome. So we need to improve our home record and, the games at home. And, there's nothing more fun than to win at home in front of the fans and family and friends. So I think we need to get going and keep going. Obviously, today it's a good test for us against a good team, and I thought we you maybe deserve it or maybe didn't deserve it, but I felt like it could have went our way more times than it went their way. So, but that didn't happen, and we're sitting here. We got some work to do in practice and get back here next game.
We call it the Ram 1500 Limited. But, truth be told, there's nothing limited about it. Ram 1500, winner, J.D. Power Award for Best Driver Appeal.
All right, let's, by the way, welcome back. Flames TV Live, the postgame show brought to you by Ram Truck, winner of Motor Trend Truck of the Year for the 3rd year in a row. Brendan Parker alongside Cory Sarich. Just re-racking things here on the postgame show. Heard from head coach Daryl Sutter, Noah Hannafin, Jacob Markstrom there as well. Maybe let's just talk a little bit briefly about Noah Hannafin, his night. Eventful, a guy that obviously playing against his former team here, team that drafted him, had a pretty solid night on the back end. What did you make of his evening of work, including a penalty shot, which is pretty rare for a defenseman, I'd say?
Yeah, not too many of those. I think they mentioned that he was the 3rd regular season penalty shot by a Flames defenseman in history.
Yeah.
And nice job of him springing himself. Pretty good move here, too, on the
Real good.
penalty shot. Not very often do the goalies fall forward like that and still are able to put their paddle on the ground. But obviously rewarded later here with the seeing eye shot from the point. And just overall tonight, really solid effort by Noah. He was good in his own end. He helped provide offense. I liked it because there was really no glaring mistakes. There's nothing, no negatives to take away from the game for him. And as a defenseman, whether you're a top pair, whether you're a bottom pair, if you kind of do a review of your game yourself and there's nothing that sticks out that's glaring in the negative sense, that's usually a sign that you've had a pretty good evening, because those can sneak in pretty easily for a defenseman. You know, where you get beat, where someone walks around you, where you lose coverage. Usually things around your net that shouldn't stand out. That do
assignments, or whatever.
That's the report card right there, and I give him a good one tonight. He's pretty solid.
Good stuff. All right, before we let you go, let's check in on the out-of-town scoreboard. I think we're kind of reaching that point now where you still out of curiosity, want to know what else is going on. And the Edmonton Oilers were in action tonight. You see a couple of teams within the division. Anaheim wins again tonight. That's in a shootout. They're on a road trip. And then if we go to the next page, this is where we get a chance to see what's going on in Edmonton, which, you know, you do get a little bit of help there in terms of the Boston Bruins win, which you'll see on Saturday as well. So what else? We got Seattle there, and Kings are still in action against Dallas, and then the Sharks trailing 3-0. Of course, they're coming off that win over the Flames on Tuesday night. So, brief little check-in on the out-of-town scoreboard. Busy night across the National Hockey League, but Calgary Flames fall tonight. Thanks for doing it, by the way. Appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
See you back
as
soon.
always.
Yeah, and let's put a wrap on tonight. 2-1 the final here. Coming in overtime, not a shootout. We didn't quite get there, but overtime, the final. Carolina Hurricanes come in, 2 of the top teams in the National Hockey League, 2 of the stingiest as well, the top in terms of goals against average, and it lives up to it tonight. 2-1 the final. Sebastian Aho gets both goals for the Hurricanes. Next action for the Calgary Flames, we mentioned it. Boston Bruins coming off a win in Edmonton. They'll be here on Saturday night to put a wrap on this 2-game homestand. We'll see you on Saturday. Thanks for watching Flames TV Live, brought to you by Ram Truck.